So the objective of this webinar is there are three ways of representing a curve: the Cartesian, parametric, and polar. I'll try to explain these three using the GeoGebra and finding the angle of intersection of two curves, and then finding correlation coefficient, lines of regression, and curve fitting. The last two are just to give you some idea about the statistics, how we can use the tool for statistics. The remaining things, let me explain. So my request to you is, you can, if you are log into a laptop, if you have a laptop now, you can use the online GeoGebra Classic now itself. Just type GeoGebra Classic in Google. You will get the required screen of this type. This is GeoGebra Classic screen. Fine. So let me start with, as I said, we have three. I could not make it the full screen just because I have to switch between the presentation as well as the GeoGebra software. Hope all this, I have made the fonts bigger so you can easily see. If you could not see something, you can zoom and you can easily check what is written there. Okay. So let me start with the first one, that is Cartesian, parametric, and polar ways of representing curve. So the first one is the Cartesian curve. So say, for example, y equal to x square is a curve, and then y equal to sin x, y equal to cos x. They are all where x and y are points in the Cartesian coordinate system. So how to do this in the GeoGebra? So I will, in the beginning, let me give you a little bit introduction about this GeoGebra. This is the menu which you are going to get, the GeoGebra. There, on the left side, you have 10 buttons. First one, if you click, the options are move, fresh hand shape, pen. The second one, if you click, point on object, etc. I will use few tools here and I will explain how those things can be used. The third button is line, segment, and then vector, all those things. The fourth is perpendicular line, etc. We use the tangents and angle bisectors. And polygon is the fifth one. Circle is the sixth one. There are different ways of drawing circle. So maybe if somebody gives you 3 points, we can have a circle passing through those, or a center and radius is given, then also we can draw the circle. So the next option is the ellipse, and then angle, area, etc. Reflections is the next option, that is the 8th option. 9th option, there is a slider and text writing, and the last 10th option is move, zoom out, etc. So this is what you are going to get in GeoGebra when you open with the GeoGebra Classic. So these are buttons in the left side, and down you have a command line where you can type the command. I will do that. But before that, let me explain the right hand side. Right hand side, you have 3 lines. Hope you could see here. You can zoom and see on the right hand side, there is one zoom option and then 3 lines. When you click on those 3 lines, you will see the file, new, open, save, etc. I'm going to use only few today. If you are using online, you better not to save. Once you give it for new, automatically it will ask for save option. You can say don't save, so that while I am demonstrating, you need not, because this is my experience. If you go on writing, you will be finding it difficult to erase them. One way of erasing when you write some curve is going undo button, which is there on the right side. Undo button is there. Okay. And then we can open a new, and then save option is there. Download, usually we can download as a figure. Once you draw a figure in this GeoGebra, you can easily download and you can share it in any way, any platform, anywhere, like the Word file or in the note, OneNote, wherever you want, you can copy paste it. That option is there. So this is the structure of the GeoGebra. When you open, you will get this one. So I will start with the Cartesian curve. So in the beginning, I will explain you a little bit more, but later I will go a little bit fast also. So how we can write a Cartesian curve? So I can simply type sin x. Sin x, that's all. I'm not saying that f of x equal to sine and then a bracket, etc. Nothing is required. Just type sin x in the command line. The leftmost corner, you could see. I'll give you time. You can do it now. You zoom and see that what I typed here. Sin x is there in the left side. You could see the curve sin x on the right side. Okay. So if you use the leftmost button, that is move button, you can move this. You can zoom it and you can show if you want bigger one. Say for example, sine defines from 0 to 1. Maximum value of sin x is 1, minimum value is 0, and it is from 0 to pi, it takes maximum, and then negative values from pi to 2 pi. So you can show all those things by moving. If you want to increase the scale or if you want to decrease the scale, you just have to scroll using the mouse button. Hope it is very clear. So I have just drawn the sin x. I'll repeat. I can erase these commands once. There is a button in the leftmost. Delete option will come. I'll delete again and I will show you again. Okay, I'm deleting all the commands. I'll just type sin x. That's all. No bracket, no function. But automatically it will assign f of x is equal to sin x. That the software itself will do that. So you have a function f. I can do the differentiation of the sin x, or whatever I want I can do. F is assigned as sin x. Similarly, say x square if I want, I will type x to the power 2. That's all. So you have two curves now on the screen. One is sin x and the x square. I can show the bigger part. Wherever I want, I can move it using the leftmost button. That move option is there. Fine. Then if I want to show only one curve, I can, in the leftmost corner, you have a circle where the blue color, the leftmost corner, you have the function f of x. There, if you click, the sin x curve will disable. Similarly, I can disable the x square curve also. I can show only one curve or both the curves, etc. Those options are there here on the leftmost corner. So this is how it looks. And if I want the sin x curve or the x square curve defined only between somewhere, say for example, I want the sin x between 0 to 2 pi. This is actually defining from minus infinity to infinity. If you are saying in the left, if you could see from the left, you can drag to any point. The sin x is defined infinitely in this graph. But I want between say 0 to 2 pi only. So that is possible. How I can do that? Just let me delete both the curves for the time being. Now I will type sin x, and then comma 0 less than x less than 2 pi. Pi is a valid number in GeoGebra. You can write just sin x after sin x 0 less than comma 0 less than x less than 2 pi. Pi you have to type in the keyboard pi. So automatically it will take the function f of x equal to sin x comma within a bracket. We need not type in this bracket and 0 less than x. Everything is not required. So you can see now 0 to 2 pi the function is defined the sin x. So similarly any function, say let me give you a few more examples here. X plus 3 curve. Yeah, g of x equal to x plus 3. So this is the function. I can show you by drawing here. And then suppose I want to y equal to some function, x to the power 2 and all, that is also possible. X power, y equal to x power. So I can draw any of these curves and I can show only few. Y equal to x square curve is this one only. That's one. Then if I want to change the color of this, just right click here and there is an option setting. Under the setting, you have to go for the color. Fine. So there is a red, any color I can choose, and then I can make the whole part like a covering part. That is also possible. There is a preview option and the opacity is there. There, if you make 0, then it is just the curve. If you want to completely cover the curve with the color, that is possible. So it is so simple, anything you can do. So this is about the Cartesian. I'm doing little bit slowly because these basic settings are same for any of the curves. I'll go a little bit fast now. Right? So then, so this is about the Cartesian. This is my presentation screen. So these are the curves I have traced, sin x and cos x. And then we'll come to the parametric way of representing a curve. So simple example is y equal to sin t and x equal to cos t represents a circle in the parametric form. And another parametric example, most common example which we use is y equal to k into 1 minus cos t and x equal to k into t minus sin t. And this second one is called cycloid. Cycloid, if you remember those who are teaching for geodesics, the calculus of variation, it is the solution for Brechistochrone problem. Brechistochrone problem, if you see the solution, it is the answer is a cycloid which takes the shape. I'm going to show the shape. Okay, we'll trace those two things. One is the parametric curve of y equal to sin t and then x equal to cos t. So go to the GeoGebra. I'm just here, I will go because I don't want to have the previous. I can click here, the new option is there. I'll click there, new, don't save, so that I will get the new screen here. Maybe you are finding it difficult to get erased all the things. Once this is done, I'll go for the parametric one. I will do it in a very better way. I'm going to use two different screen for parametric. Okay. So what do you mean by parametric curve? There will be a parameter t, both x and y are varying with respect to the t. So I will show the parameter in one plane and the function which is varying on the second plane. Okay. So how to take the parameter? There is an option in the 9th button, that is the slider. I'll go for the slider here. I will use the slider here in the XY plane. And this slider is moving from -5 to 5. I'm not going to change. Just click on the slider and OK, you can click. So your parameter t is ready now. T varies from -5 to 5. And then I will go for a new, under the view option, if you click, there are one is graphics, another one is graphics 2. If you click graphic 2, I will get another plane. This is one plane which is exiting XY, another one is there. Just to make the difference, the other plane automatically comes without the grid lines. That's all. So in the other plane, I am going to trace the parametric curve. Okay. So I'm going to take, what is the parameter? I will take a point on the other plane, just a point using the second option, point option. The point A is here now on the second plane. Hope you could see. I'll stop for a while. Hope you could see this. There are two planes now. One plane where I have a parameter A, which is varying between -5 and 5. I will show the variation later. In the other plane, I have a capital A button, which is having the coordinate. I don't want the coordinate now. I'm going to change the coordinate as the parametric function. So in the left side, you have to type. Suppose I want y equal to sin t and x equal to cos t, a circle, as it is there in the example here. That is x equal to cos t and y equal to sin t represents a circle, I said. I'm going to show in the GeoGebra how we can do that. Just change the coordinate of this capital A to, go back, y x is cos t. You just type cos A here because A is my parameter, cos A and sin A. Okay. Please note that I am not using any bracket here. No need of using a bracket, nothing. Just I typed cos A without any space, nothing, and a comma and then sin A. Automatically you will get the coordinate of the capital A as cos A and sin A. So A, but A is here. Capital A is there in the second plane. Just I want to see this curve properly. So I have to go for show trace. There is an option to show trace. You click on that option. I'll repeat. When you right click on the button A, there is an option show trace. You click on the show trace option. Done. Once that is done, there is a play button under it. If you press the play button, it will start showing the parametric curve. I will make it zoom a little bit so that everyone, even with the mobile, you are able to see. Hope you could see both, where the parameter A is changing from -5 to 5. On the other hand, on the second plane, the parametric curve, that is x equal to cos t and y equal to sin t, it is tracing. Fine. So this is how we can write the, I will give one more example, that is the cycloid one. The cycloid one, where, okay, so actually there are two planes. I can disable any one plane. I can show both the planes. Those options are there. Fine. Now let me take another curve, that is, as I said, the cycloid. Cycloid is, I'll go back to this one. The cycloid is x equal to k into t cos t and y equal to k into 1 minus cos t. So I have to type first k. I will take k as 1 and I will type a minus sin a comma 1 minus cos a in the GeoGebra. That's all. So I will take a point in the second plane, say B. I will change the coordinate of this B to a minus sin a comma 1 minus cos a, and then remaining thing I'm going to delete. Okay. So now I have a cycloid. Most of you may be knowing how the shape of the cycloid. If you could watch from the side of a road, the trace of the wheel, a point on the wheel of any car, the tire of a car, it is going to make a shape. That shape is called cycloid. So I'm going to trace the same. Just first give the show trace option here, and then click on the play button, which is there under A. Okay, I'm showing bigger screen. So it will start. I don't want to trace this. Okay. So you will see the cycloid now. It is tracing the cycloid between -5 and 5. I just made it the screen. The screen is now between -5 and 5. You could see that this is the cycloid, shape of the cycloid. The other button is the different one, which I don't want now. Fine. If you want to trace the cycloid for more place, then this one I don't want. Okay. So if I want to increase this one, I want to have the cycloid between, say, -10 to 10. You just have to change the settings under A. So I will do that. Go to the right click on the button A, go to the setting. It shows for the setting, under the setting, I'm just making here -10 -10 and +10. Okay, so I have increased the size of this A. The parameter A is now from -10 to +10. Fine. So I will again use the same tracing of that. So this is my screen. You can see that I have now the parameter is changing from -10 to +10. I'm just showing you -10 to +10. So this is the shape of the cycloid. Okay. So this is how we can represent the parametric. I will move on next to close. Go to file, just open a new one. Okay. So let us move on to the third option, that is the polar curve. Hope you could see my screen, the polar curve. So little bit difficult to trace the polar curve in GeoGebra, but once you have the code, then it becomes very easy. So let me explain first how we trace the polar curve. You type any function, say for example sin x in the command line, it will store f of x as sin x. Then take some letter, maybe say b equal to curve f of t cos t comma f of t sin t. T varies from 0 to 2 pi. So this is going to trace the function f of t. How this comes? This is actually conversion from the polar to parameter, polar to Cartesian. In the polar to Cartesian, we have to take y r cos theta, x as r cos theta and y as r sin theta. For me, the r is f of x. That's all. So once that is done, we change the function f of x to any polar curve whichever we want. So most probably we use the cardioid. I'm going to show the shape of the cardioid, that is 1 plus cos theta, or any constant into 1 plus cos theta, 1 minus cos theta, 1 plus sin theta, 1 minus sin theta. All these four curves are called cardioid. It's going to take the shape of the heart. This is one of the favorite curve in the under the polar curves. Similarly, we know that cos 2x, f of x equal to cos 2x, or f of r equal to cos 2 theta, r equal to cos 2 theta represents a curve called four-leaved rose. Okay, so I'm going to trace both now using GeoGebra. So this will be the trace of the cardioid. This will be the trace of the, I'll keep this one. This will be the trace of the cardioid. And this will be the four-leaved rose. On the left side, you can zoom and see the function is cos 2x. Okay, we'll do that. How we can do? Just go to the, here I have an option. I'll close this. Okay. Now I will take any function. I am going to take, say, sin x function. Then this is the sin x, which I don't want to show the function. There is an option here, as I said, you can hide the function. Once that is done, you take, as I said, any number, say, take a point and change the coordinate of this point to f of t, or I don't want to take the point. Let me go back. Okay, fine. F of x equal to sin x is there. I'll take b is equal to curve, 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 f of t cos t, f of t cos t, comma, f of t sin t. Okay, fine. So I have the curve f of t, and which should be defined between. I'll go to the code. The code is f of t cos t, f of t sin t. It should be defined between 0 to 2 pi, and I should specify t as the parameter. So I'll do that. Put a comma and then put a t and then 0, comma 2 pi. Okay, done. So automatically now it says that I have drawn a parametric curve. That is f of t equal to r cos theta and r sin theta actually, where f of t is r. So my function is r cos theta, r sin theta. Already we know this is a circle in the polar format, right? So once this is ready, this setup is ready, I can go to the function here. I can change the function. I will make the function f of x as 1 plus cos theta, 1 plus cos x, that's fine. 1 plus cos x. I have changed the function f of x to 1 plus cos x now. I'm getting the trace, the cardioid. Okay. So if you want to make change the color, you can go to setting of the color and then change the color. So this is the shape of cardioid. Hope all of you could see. This is the shape of the cardioid. Fine. So what I did, I have changed the function f of x as 1 plus cos x. Now this setup is there, b equal to curve, all those things are there. I can change to any polar curve. So I will change to cos 2x, f of x as cos 2 times x, done. So I will get the 4-lived rows. It's so simple. So whatever you want to see the polar curve, you can trace now. Now, once this setup is ready, we are able to trace all the polar curves within 1 or 2 minutes. I have to change the function f of x as cos 2 theta, sin 2 theta, like that, whatever we want. So this is 4-lived rows. The previous one is the cardioid. So all those 3 things are over. The Cartesian, parametric, and polar way of representing curve is over. Okay. Now, so GeoGebra, as the name says, this is mainly used for geometry purpose. So let me explain a few geometrical purpose. Just I am demonstrating with few examples the key buttons which are there in the GeoGebra software. Let me take an example. Prove that the angle between a circle and the line passing through the center of the circle is 90 degrees. Okay. If you can recall, they are called orthogonal trajectories, set of concentric circles and the family of lines passing through the origin. They are orthogonal to each other. Therefore, they are called orthogonal trajectories. So I'm going to trace that. So this is what you are going to get. If you take a circle and if you take the lines passing through origin, every line makes an angle 90 degrees with the circle. Okay, at the point of intersection, it makes an angle 90 degrees. How we can show using GeoGebra? Let me come to the GeoGebra. I will clear the screen first. Press new and don't save. That is fine. Now this is the GeoGebra screen. I will take a circle first. For the circle, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th option here. The circle option is there. First one, circle with center through a point. Okay, so click on that. I'm going to take a circle with origin as the center and say radius as 4 units. Okay, fine. I could make the 4 units radius. This is the circle which we can get easily. Once the circle is ready, I have to remove and I can show. Yeah. Now, I'll have some straight lines passing through origin. To do that, there is a second button here, lines option. click on that, the first option, line option, click on the line option, which should passes through origin and take 2 points. So there is a line passing through origin now. I'll just show that the angle between this circle and this line is 90 degree. That's all. We can trace more later. Fine. So before that, the software should give me the point of intersection. If I am finding a point of intersection, it may not be so proper. So first thing is to find the point of intersection through the software. So there is an option here. Intersect option is there under the same button, that is A point. You go to the intersect option. Once you click on that, there is a help bar which you are going to get. That down, if you could see, when I keep the cursor on the intersect option, you will see that select intersection two objects successively. That means I have to select the circle and the line so that I will get the intersection point. I will do that. First click on intersect option, then select the circle, select the line. Okay. Now I got the intersection point E. Just to show you that point E, I can change the settings. I can change the color of the button E to something else. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is the intersection point which is identified by the software. I am not supposed to find the intersection point manually because I may make mistake, maybe a small error. So once that is done, once the intersection point is done, what do you mean by angle between the two curves? Angle between two curves means angle between the tangents. So one tangent is the line itself, but I have to draw a tangent at the point of intersection to the circle. So there is an option to draw the tangent. Under the fourth button, you have an option tangent. When you click on that, it says select a point or a line and then the circle. Okay, so I have to draw a tangent to the circle at the point of intersection. So click on the point and then the circle. You will get the exact tangent drawn by the software. Hope you could see that. So this is the tangent drawn at the point of intersection. What I did, first I selected the point and the circle I selected. So that at the point, I have to draw a tangent to the circle, not to the line. So we have two lines now. I have to find the angle between these two lines. So now what I have to do is there is an option under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th one. 8th one is the angle. Click the angle button. Once you keep the cursor on angle, select 3 points or 2 lines it says. So I have 2 lines now. Click on the angle first, select the tangent line and the other line. It shows you that the angle between the circle and the tangent is 90 degree. I'll make a little bit zoom. Hope you could see properly that the angle between, and it automatically assigns alpha equal to 90 degree. Mostly we use alpha, beta, gamma for angles. So at the point of intersection, angle is 90 degree. So easily we can explain that all this concept, angle of intersection of any two curves. So let me move on. I have one more example. If you take sine curve and cos curve, at the point of intersection, say for example, at theta equal to 45 degree, both intersects. So we can find the angle of intersection of the sine curve and cos curve like that. Any curve you can take, find the point of intersection first and draw tangent at the point of intersection. You should not do, the software will draw by selecting. After that, go for the angle. It shows the angle between them. Say for example, here the angle is, angle between sine x and cos x is 70 degree 53 minutes, which we can prove later by using the analytics theory. Okay. So this is about finding angle and knowing about little bit. Now it's so easy to find area of any particular closed curve. So I'll give an example. Say for example, if I take a rectangle, this is very basic, but let me show you, and later I'm going to use it for some other proof. Say for example, I have a rectangle of size 5 units, length and breadth say 3 units, automatically its area is 15 units. So let me first, what we have to do, we have to draw a rectangle. I'll do that. I'll clear the screen first. Okay, so I'm going to draw a rectangle first. I can choose the polygon option or regular polygon. So not the polygon. I'll take say length equal to 4 units and then height 3 units. Okay, so I have a rectangle of 3 into 5. So to know the area, there is an option on the under the angle button. You have an area. Click on area and select this closed area. It shows you the area of ABCD is 15 units. Okay, so you can move it and you can, if you want, you can increase the font size. All those things are possible. So it is so simple to zoom and fine. Okay, hope you could see properly. I have selected 4 points A, B, C, D, and then the area is 15 units. That is done. So let us move on little bit. Okay, now I'm going to use this for demonstrating one simple concept, how we can use this tool to demonstrate. Mostly in high school level, we would have proved that quadrilateral of maximum size, which can be inscribed in a circle, is always a square. I'll repeat, a four-sided polygon, that is quadrilateral of maximum size, which can be inscribed in a circle, becomes a square. We proved using the x, y coordinates and all those things, but we could not make the students to visualize this. Even I was not told how this is true, but without doing any calculation, using GeoGebra, I'm going to prove it now in front of you that when the size becomes the square, when this a rectangle which is inscribed in a circle, when we make the rectangle a square, automatically it is going to take the maximum area. This is what the thing to be proved. So I'll do that now. Just see, I'll clear the screen. Fine. So I have to draw a circle first. Choose the center and then say 4 units. Okay. Okay. So this is a circle of radius 4 unit and center at origin. You could see in the left side, x square plus y square equal to 16 is the equation of the circle. And the point B here is 4, 0. All those things are there. Now I'm going to take a quadrilateral. I'm going to inscribe inside this circle. There is an option here, polygon option. Click on the polygon option. Take 4 points on the circle. 1, 2, 3, and 4 points on the circle. Close that. Okay. Now I have a quadrilateral which is inscribed in a circle. First, let me find the area of this. As already told, go to the area option and then select this CDEF. CDEF. This is the quadrilateral. You can move this. Area is now 28.1 It is supposed to be as a circle, but a square. So I will make it a square. How we can make it so simple? I will move these points to the corners of the XY axis. Move the point D to the Y axis and E point to the X axis, negative side. Then F point to the another corner. E point to the other corner. Okay. Now if you could observe, now exactly the area is 32 units. And this is the maximum. When I change it, little bit change also, now it is 31.96. When I move this point to exactly to the positive side of x-axis on the circle, it's showing 32. Now I can explain you what is the theory. The theory says that the maximum area of that quadrilateral is supposed to be 2 times r square. Here I took r equal to 4 units, r square is 16, 2 times r square is 32. So this is the maximum size possible. We can easily demonstrate or we can visualize that whenever I am moving this point to anywhere, it is decreasing. Now say for example, now it is 30.04. So the maximum size, maximum area possible inside a circle is 30 units. It is 2 times r square. Hope this concept is clear. I have not proved anything, but it is so easy to understand using the picture. Right. Similarly, you can prove by picture method. If you take a triangle inside a circle, that is inscribed in a circle, then automatically it becomes equilateral triangle and its area will be 3√3 divided by 4 into r square. Same type. The shape of the triangle will be this. The area in this case, it is showing as 20.78. Hope all the mathematics teacher will enjoy this because I am not proving by using the equations and all, just the picture, proof by picture method. Fine. So now let me move on to a little bit difficult concept. Fine. Little bit difficult concept, that is complex analysis, where we struggle to explain some of the concepts. So the major concept one is the Cauchy's theorem. Suppose a point, say I have a circle mod z plus 2 equal to 2. And I have a point, say 1 plus I 2 plus 3. Complex number plus 2 equal to 1 unit or any circle. So let me take the same. For example, here 2 plus 3 is already there, a point. First, let me make that point clear. This is my 2 plus 3i point. I'm going to draw the circle, but here little bit caution is required. The z plus 2 equal to 2, suppose if I'm taking that circle, I have to make it into an equation. It is an equation of circle where x plus 2 whole square plus y square equal to 4. That means z means x plus iy, and then mod of z plus 2 means square root of x plus 2 whole square plus y plus 2 whole square, y square, which is the radius is 2, so 2 square is 4. So first let me write this equation on the command window. That is x plus 2 the square plus y square is equal to 4. Fine. Hope you could see there is a circle. This is actually mod z equal to 2. That circle. Mod z plus 2 equal to 2. This circle. Mod z plus 2 equal to 2. That circle. And the point 2 plus 3i is there. Point 2 plus 3i is here. I can easily show the student that 2 plus 3i doesn't come inside the circle of mod z plus 2 equal to. Whereas if I move this point, let me move this point to anywhere. I have moved it to x equal to -1 and y equal to 0. So you can see in the leftmost corner, the point z1 is now taking the coordinate as -1, 0. Right? So that means the point -1, the complex number -1 plus 0i is inside the circle mod z plus 2 equal to 2. Similarly, if I move it left side, -3 is also inside. -4 exactly will be there on the circle. Whereas if I go anywhere here, even if I can show here, -2 plus I is a point inside the circle. These are the things very difficult to explain to the student. See, -2 minus I. Now it is taking the place -2 minus I. X is -2, Y is -1. So x -2 minus I is a point inside the circle of mod z plus 2 equal to 2. So all the points, whether it comes inside or not, it is so easy to explain now using the geometry. Fine. So let me move on. This is done. This is the curve which we got. Next, one more important or difficult concept in the complex analysis is conformal mapping. For example, W equal to Z square. I have to see the conformal mapping of W is equal to Z square. What do you mean by conformal mapping? We assume Z as one plane. We assume the W as another plane. And whatever changes made in the Z plane, which will affect something on the W plane. Say, for example, under the conformal mapping W equal to Z square, if you draw a parallel line parallel to x-axis, there will be a corresponding parabola on the W plane. All those things, theory, we can explain easily or we can prove also, but students are not able to visualize what is happening. They say that there are curves, there is W plane, there is the Z plane and all. Where are these two planes? Mostly we will not draw any planes, no curves, but simply we will try to convince the student, but that's why we are failing in that one. So I will try to demonstrate this using one or two simple example. I have considered one most common example is W equal to Z square, where when you are having something curves in the Z plane, what will be the effect in the W plane? I will demonstrate that. The other one is Z plus 1 by Z. Let me take both. So we'll start with the first one. First, let me clear this. Fine. So I will use two different planes. One I will call as a Z plane, the other one is W plane. How to do that? There is an option on the right side, view option. You click on graphics 2. Already graphics 1 already clicked. It is there. So graphics 2. So now I have two different planes. I have two different planes. I can move the first plane. So this is okay, fine. So I will demonstrate those concepts like the conformal mapping of W equal to Z square. What is the effect? So I will call the first one as Z plane. There is an option to write. Go to the slider button. There you have ABC text. Click on that. Select the point where you want the text. I will call this as Z plane. Z plane. Done. So this is Z plane. I'll select the other one as W plane, other plane as W plane. That is done. So now I have two planes. One is Z plane and the other one is W plane. I have to show the students, or I have to show you now, that if I draw a straight line parallel to y-axis in Z plane, the effect will be a parabola in the W plane. Or if I draw a line parallel to x-axis in the z plane, again this will be a parabola in the other direction. Okay, so how we can do that? So my first I should have which conformal mapping I am explaining. I am explaining the conformal mapping of w equal to z square, that is in my mind, where I have to show that the straight lines parallel to coordinate axis correspond to parabola. Okay, so I have to draw a straight line first. Let me take a straight line. There are two ways. One is I can select the line, or you can write, say, x equal to 2, a straight line parallel to y axis. X is equal to 2. Right. So this is the equation. Okay, which I don't want. It should not be on the W plane. So I can go back by using undo button. I want x equal to 2 in the Z plane. I'll select the Z plane first. I'll write x equal to 2. Okay, fine. Now on the W plane, I have to show that it corresponds to parabola under the conformal mapping. So before that, I should take a point on this line already drawn. I'll take a point, say A, and then I will make the coordinate of this A as a complex number. Okay, so when you click a point on the A, we can see that there is a play button. If I play, it moves on the line exactly. So that means the point which you have chosen is exactly on the line. It conforms. So I have a point on the A. I will make the coordinate of this point A complex number as small a is equal to x of capital A, comma, plus y of capital A, I. Okay. So that is done now. Right. Now, the point A is in the Z plane, which is on the line x equal to 2. I have to show its effect on the W plane. So for that, I have to choose a point on the W plane. I'll go to the point option. I'll choose a point, say B, on the W plane, the other plane. Okay. So then, when I choose a point B on the W plane, I want to see the trace of this. So I will say show trace option. Already it is explained. Show trace option, that is done. Then come back to B here in the command line and change this B to A square. A to the power 2. What is this A power 2? I am explaining the conformal mapping of Z square. Now point A is on the Z plane, Z square will be in the W plane. So A square, that is done. Now, if I use the play button, I'll get the conformal mapping of W equal to Z square. The straight line parallel to Y axis correspond to a parabola in the W plane. Hope you can see properly. This is a parabola in the W plane. This is in the Z plane. I think W plane is not visible. I can make it now. 1 second. So I can write using text. This is W plane. Okay. So both are there now. I can use the play button which is there on A. So it starts tracing the curve, that is parabola. So the line parallel to y axis correspond to a parabola in the W plane. This is Z plane, there is a W plane. There is no doubt about that. So now at this point we can change any, instead of Z square, I can take Z plus 1 by Z whatever. So it works same way. The concept is same, but we have to change the function as well as the corresponding equations. Maybe I have to take a circle in the z plane which correspond to a circle in the w plane under z square. Those concepts can be easily explained. So we will move on. Okay, conformal mapping is over. Similarly, this is concept how it should be done. It's explained already. This is what we have seen now. A straight line in z plane correspond to a parabola in the w plane. Similarly, under the z, under the conformal mapping w equal to z plus 1 by z, we can show that circle correspond to an ellipse in the w plane, and a straight line passing through origin correspond to an hyperbola in the w plane. This is z plane, w plane. Straight line is there in the xy, that is z plane, and parabola in the w plane. Okay. So this is about the complex analysis. We can explore some more ideas of explaining, but this is enough to start with. So remaining things are a little bit statistics. I will go a little bit fast now because this is simple, where I have to type a command. At this point, let me tell you all the things, including say partial fraction, differentiation, integration, everything can be done on the GeoGebra. Okay, so there is a freely available user manual, that is GeoGebra manual, which you can get, you can download PDF, you can download and read, but it is around 416 pages. It may take a bit more time, but each command, if you read and if you try to apply that, you can easily get the result. As I said, partial fraction or differentiation, integration, everything is possible. But I am using for the statistical part, say mostly for the correlation coefficient. Okay. So what we are supposed to do is go to the GeoGebra. Clear the screen first. Okay. So I want to find the correlation coefficient of a few x and y coordinates. Just you need to type correlation coefficient. It's a big, this one. I have correlation coefficient. Few coordinates have been taken, and type in the command line. Okay, so I'll repeat. I'm just using the command line, not the xy plane. Correlation coefficient of x equal to 1, y equal to 4, x equal to 5, y equal to 11, x equal to 6, y equal to 11 again. So what would be the correlation coefficient between this x and y? You can type any number of x and y coordinates. It shows you the answer there only. 0.98 is the correlation coefficient. So if you have one more, or if you want to change here, you can say, for example, instead of 6, if I write say 5, you will get the correlation coefficient comes to be exactly 1. Hope you remember coefficient is a number between minus and 1 and 1. You can give negative also. Again, it is perfectly correlated. Okay, now you could see that it is 0.82, not that correlated. I have the coordinates here. Correlation coefficient is 1, minus 3, 5 and 3, 5 and 11, it comes. So the command line, you can type, say, suppose I have the function f, I can say f dash, all those things. Due to the time constraint, I'm not going to explain other things. Let me stick to whatever there in the slides. So this is about curve. And then next part in the statistical analysis is the fitting a line. Fit line is an option there. For the same data, we can fit a line. Just you have to give fit line, that's all. Type it under the command line.
ನೀನದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನೀನೇನು ಒತ್ತಬೇಡ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ನಿನ್ ಪಡೆ ನಿನ್ಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಮುಟ್ಬೇಡ.
Okay, so you could see that fit line option, that is fitting a straight line passing through those points. It gives you the equation, that is the fitting a straight line for the given data, y equal to 1.14x plus this one. You have to use the command, that is fit line. Okay, so you could see the on the left side, you could see here the line of okay. So in the left side, you could see the straight line also passing through those points, and this is the line fitting. Similarly, this is actually, this fit line is same as the regression of y on x. Already we know, both are same. If you are fitting a straight line, it is same as regression of y on x. So we may want to have a regression of x on y. Okay. Regression of x on y can be obtained by using a similar command, that is fit line capital X. That's all. Fit line gives you regression of y on x. If you want the regression of x on y, use fit line capital X. That's all. So I'll take the same thing. Just type on the command line, Control V. You'll get the other line, that is regression of x on y. Okay, but it comes as y equal to something. You have to change the variables, x and y are interchanged. Actually, this is x equal to 1.17y plus 1.79. And here you can explain. Mostly this is a part of curve fitting. We find it difficult to explain without the curves. So we can use this tool. So at the point here, these two curves are going to intersect at the point where x bar, y bar, the mean of x and y. That also we can show. This somewhere here you will get the mean of x and y. Fine. This is curve fitting. Fit polynomial, that is another option you have. Suppose I want to fit a polynomial of degree 2, degree 3, degree 4, whatever we want. The fit polynomial is another option. Same type, you just type, I'm not going to show that one, fit poly. And for the same data, if I fit polynomial, and after that, after entering all the data, you have to put a flower bracket and then polynomial degree you should mention. For the fit poly, you have to mention the degree. Remember here, fit poly of degree 1 is same as the straight line fit already, which we did. Fit poly degree 2 is a polynomial of degree 2, degree 3, degree 4, whatever you want. Once you give this one, you will get the equation of the best fit, that is 0.5x square here plus 1.3x plus 0.1. Okay. So similarly, fit exponential is another one. Calculating exponential curve of the type a into e power bx. Fit exp is there. Use the same maybe points, x and y points. Fit exp will gives you the required curve. I'll just show you one more. So this is the exponential curve. We know that exponential curve goes very fast, exponentially increasing. So this is an example where I took very few points, 0, 1, 2, 4, and 3, 7. Exponential curve will be passing through that. First, actually, we have to take these points, 0, 1, somewhere here, and all those things. We can easily explain where this curve is going and all. Fine. So that's what I wanted to share with you. This is just an idea of sharing with you, and for more information you can watch the videos on GeoGebra. There are a lot of videos, tutorial is there, but these concepts are not that clear. They were explaining related to some other, maybe in a different way, mainly for concept analysis and proving some of the things using GeoGebra. Those are my own idea of understanding this software, that's all. So my email ID is this, Ramananda H, RAMANANDA H sjec.ac.in. I'm eager to listen from you. If you can make some experiment here, and if you get some good things or something which you can invent from this, I'm ready to listen from you. And I'm not saying that I can give you solution for whatever question you ask. I'm not expert in this. I'm just sharing my knowledge, whichever I learned in these few days with you. With this, I am going to end my session. Thank you for attending this, and I will stop sharing my screen.